Alrighty, welcome back to the Gex 3D and to the... Thought it froze for a second, so again I shall restart my tangent. Welcome back to the Gex 3D and to the Gecko commentary with me, Skully the Metalhead. As you can see there, we are now entering one of our first Kung Fu themed levels. This level named Mao Zedong. Get it? It's a reference to a communist dictator of China, I think, if my history is correct. But in any case, this is probably another one of my favourite levels in this game, if only for the Chinese theme alone. I don't know, I mean, there's just something about this Asian, well, would it be, could it be this, well, I suppose Chinese, Japanese, I don't know, this sort of theme in general that kind of just fills me with a sense of, peace and mystique. I don't know if it's just purely the cultural aesthetics, but I don't know, there's just something about these levels that just fills me with joy. Although, I say Chinese, but then again, I'm not necessarily sure since there are ninjas, which I'm pretty sure are mutually exclusive to Japan, but I'm not entirely too certain that it is Japan, since there are a lot of things here that seem to be a little bit more reminiscent of China. But, I don't know really, I suppose they're just going to assume that it's just general Asian stuff. Is that racist? Well, probably not, but maybe a little bit stereotypical. But in any case, you can even see a couple of recolors of enemies here. Not necessarily with the ninjas that we fought earlier, but more so with the fiery heads spewing fire. And holy fuck, man, this musical piece, this is transcendent. Seriously, man, it's just so calming. I could forever get lost in its beauty. Excuse me. I've just been finished eating my delicious meal. And, yeah, basically what we're doing is, we're jumping up to these different spires and reaching the TV at the end of the level. I suppose you could probably say that there isn't really much mission variety at the end of the day when you get down to Gex, because in reality it's really just either get to the end of the level, or, you know, kill X amount of enemies that are recolored to fit the level theme, or, well, I suppose in a general sense just collect things, but honestly, even then, I think the difference in aesthetics just makes all the difference when it comes to, you know, varietizing your video game, because even if you are, you know, doing something that's very familiar, at the end of the day it is still, you know, a game with rules to abide by, and again, like any game, whether physical or in the video variety, it's still, I think, or at the very least, I think in a general sense, works. But I'd say to get behind the psychology of it, in terms of like a video game or whatever, and the one example that I probably will use is Assassin's Creed, since a lot of people find its mission structure dull, it's that it depends upon what you do that's, you know, that makes it interesting for the player. Probably could have worded that a little bit more eloquently with a lot less stuttering and pauses, but I think you get the general idea here. And now comes precision platforming, which, again, if you're patient and careful, and not at all reckless like that, it's really not as hard as it looks, but you just gotta be really careful where you time your jumps. Then again, I suppose I could also bring up how Gex's momentum works, because again, it's so weird to say for the PS1 era, considering that it was kind of early days for, you know, 3D platformers, but Gex in a weird way kind of handles realistically in terms of how he controls, because again, you'll notice that when he starts off running, it takes off like, you know, a short little startup motion before he goes into a full-out sprint, which, again, is realistically handled, but the problem with that is that he tends to pack a lot of momentum, so when you start running, you know, his momentum will carry on with his jump. However, if you start to slow down and stop, he'll do like a little, it's not even like necessarily a little skidding motion, he'll just like, you know, slow down for a little bit before correcting to his, you know, position. So, yeah, Gex's controls, or at least in terms of basic movement, are realistically handled, but it also means that you've got to be kind of careful as to where you jump. I mean, I wouldn't say he's quite as, you know, arthritic as, you know, Dante's jump from Devil May Cry, but at the same time, it's not necessarily something that's, you know, easily maneuverable. No, I'm sorry, I mean, it's something that is a lot easier to maneuver compared to Dante's jump from Devil May Cry. What the fuck's wrong with me? Anyway, I'll show you the path to the secret remote. It's behind one of these doors. Yeah, again, normally you wouldn't think to jump up there, but I don't know. 90s era of video gaming, A time in which you should probably just learn to experiment and do everything with everything, which I still think is a bit of a bullshit design. And again, much like the previous section with the, you know, whole ambient oriental piece, I love this kung fu theme right here. In fact, it kind of makes me wish that Gex was like in a beat 'em up or something. I don't know, man, it's just a very nice theme. Like, both in terms of level and in terms of music. I don't know, I suppose I just kind of enjoy the whole Chinatown setting in general in video games. Although, this won't be the last time that we end up seeing a urban theme in this game. Which is, well, second time for a bonus mission that we'll be getting to in this part, but I don't know, just one of my favourite level tropes in video games. Not really too much to talk about, so I guess I don't want to bust out into comm tangents just yet, because, you know, all of that stuff is just needs to be reserved. Fuck it, I'll do it anyway. Let's see, what can I list? I suppose I can do it. Yeah, I was recently going off to the site called the Cutting Room Floor, which I believe is a wiki site that's dedicated to all the stuff that didn't make it into the final game. Pretty ingenious site, does highlight a lot of things, and I was doing some research to see the differences between the Nintendo 64 and the Sony PlayStation version of Gex. Excuse me, this was a bit stuffy. But, yeah, I found something really interesting in the media dimension, which, in the main area, which is, you know, right above where the Tiki Brothers, little, boss television is, like, right behind there, if you turn the camera around to see it, there is actually a message written up there, which, again, I have it written down right here. It reads, Jezza Rich 98, Faith, Hope, Unity. I probably put a picture up briefly, just so you know what I'm talking about, but, again, I have absolutely no idea what it means. It was probably a developer gag, most likely, and I'm sure that Jeremy Rich, if I can assume that's what the dude's name is, or Jessica, you know, I'm saying it couldn't be a lady or anything, but I don't know. It's a weird thing to put there, but then again, developers do a lot of weird shit. Well, that tangent ended as quickly as it came. I have no idea what the hell scorpions are doing there, out of all the enemies to put in the game. You would have thought they would have put them in, like, an Egyptian level. Then again, I suppose they probably should have saved these enemies for Gex Deep Cover Gecko rather than, you know, anything else. I would probably recite some kung fu movies I've seen, but then again, the only movies that I have seen that are kung fu are Drunken Master. Yeah. Don't have much more to say outside of collectibles. Whee!
Is this the year of the Gecko?
Yes. Possibly. Actually, what was the spirit animal year in 1998? I'm curious. Oh, does that only happen like every 5 to 6 years? And I'm pretty sure... Was it the year of the... Was it the year of the dragon was the year 2000, I think? It was implied that he died. Whoa, what's going on there? Oh, by the way, if you fall off, that is not a bottomless pit, but you do go back to the very start of the level, so be careful not to fall off, as was actually demonstrated a little bit earlier in the level. Okay, that was bizarre. Dana Gould, everybody, the amazing talking man. Ugh. I don't know what the fuck he's throwing. Like, I mean, it looks like ninja stars, but to me they always reminded me of, like, a packet of chips or something. I don't know, just PS1 blockiness. This level is actually surprisingly long, and I thought I would have more to say about this level than a certain prehistoric theme level that we'll be getting to a little bit later, which I absolutely despise in this game. All of my hate. Let's see. I'm sorry if you heard a bit of dead air there, but there is currently loud music, which sucks because I'm trying to commentate and people just like to blast their loud, shitty 80s music, which is probably Rod Stewart. Damn. Okay, music seems to have subsided, if slightly, but now I don't have to worry about rambling like an idiot anymore, because now we have reached the mini-boss question mark of this area. And yes, we fight a dragon, which breathes fire. Also with a really awkward as fuck cannon that you have to kind of maneuver to kind of shoot at it. Usually if you want to get the boss done you know, with a little bit more concise, or I suppose at the very least if you want to play it safe, usually just, you know, shoot at it from a specific angle and wait till it gets to you. But if you want to work with the finicky controls, I suppose you could probably just, you know, rotate the canyon like what was happening over there. But in any case, this level is done. Yippee-ki-yay. This is the Year of the Gecko. Actually, I do wonder if it was the Year of the Gecko. It might have been. And we got our silver remote. All in one. Well, all in one, I'd say, but... sorry, Year of the Gecko, we must leave, because we have more missions to attempt. Indeed, Gex. Loading... We are still... I should probably cut out these fucking loading times. I could... but it's... might be too lazy. Anyway, we have bonus missions, so... let's get around to doing the bonus missions. And again, as I mentioned last part, the cuckoo only comes from when you can't change the camera angle, which is... aggravating. And I have no idea why. I suppose it's just to say you can't do this, but I don't know, Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko kind of omitted that, and I'm more than thankful for it. Anyway, our next mission is Thursday the 12th.
It's like Friday the 13th, except a day before.
And it reuses the same level graphics from the Haunted Mansion missions. Anyway, the gimmick of this level is basically that you need to choose the right door and ascend while getting all the collectibles, and at the very top of the floor you get the golden remote.
The bonus bonanza!
As the kiddies say, even though they don't say it. Now this level is... I'd say relatively easy. I mean, even if you don't know where you're going. I suppose the first thing to do if you're a first-time player is just to mark out the doors which, you know, take you up a level. And then on your second attempt, look for the collectibles and then get to the top as fast as you can while remembering which doors take you where. Of course, there are some easy ones like the one just there, but others you'll have to pick and choose and hope for the best. I suppose as a whole, these bonus missions don't really last that long, and not really even confusing anyway. Well, save for one that we'll be getting to directly after this little section, but in a general sense, these levels are pretty concise. I don't really much that. Whoa. Yeah, that can happen, so don't stand. That's what happens if you stand on the chandeliers, is that they take you down a level, which I think this level is probably the only one that you ever have to use them as a mandatory thing. Whee! Oh, fuck. Well, there isn't really too much to say there. There are some rather finicky jumps, though, that you have to make, like... Ah. And there you go. It gets the... Yeah, this one is kind of dickish, because, I mean, like, in the previous ones, they led you to find out where it is, and this one, in there. Then again, I suppose that they did do a camera shot, it probably wouldn't have been, you know, as effective, but then again, there's only one room in the entire fucking area, so... catch-22 either way, but still, at least you would know what room to fucking search. Well, then again, I suppose most people would probably assume to search for the top anyway, since, you know, top area, you're going through doors to reach the, to the highest point on it anyway, so... I don't know. Anyway, here is... I'd argue that it's either this one or another one that's coming up in the future that's my favourite bonus mission. I mean, I love the music here, but hot damn do I love the aesthetics. Again, as I mentioned previously, I do love the urban city aesthetics in a video game, but there's just something about the level of detail that actually makes this level quite expansive, and to some degree it would probably make getting all the collectibles on your first time a bit difficult. But at the same time though, like, and I mentioned this during the Aztec to Step level in the last part, but I really do wish that some of these levels were given, you know, full all-and-out levels that you got to explore the city with, and, you know, Gex 3 kinda did this with a superhero theme, but, I don't know, I was hoping something with a little bit more of a, I don't know, well, I suppose more of a crime film feel to it, because the only other time that it did it in the game in Gex 3 was, I think, with another mission that was actually similar to this, where you had to collect a set amount of coins. And that kind of depresses me, because I'd like to have a level that's just kind of done in this style. Then again, I suppose since they're not making Gex games anymore, this is, you know, just a non-issue, which, again, I'm gonna save this for a future part, but I have no idea why they haven't made any more Gex games. Like, I mean, you'd think the franchise would sell in this day and age, but, well, then again, that comes with its own problems, and I'll save that later. Also, fun little fact, if you take a look at the train on this level, you can actually see the visage of Mushu Pork, who is the level boss. And, just, again, I hate to bring up story-wise in a Gex game, but, you know, they seem to post, like, a lot of their boss images, like, in the game. And, like, this isn't just reserved for, you know, Gex 2 in and of itself. There's also references to bosses from even as far as Gex 1 and Deep Cover Gecko as well, but what significance do these bosses have, necessarily? I don't know. You see, I mean, this one shows you exactly where the fuck to go, but, you know, the one in the fucking Thursday the 12th level doesn't? I don't know. But anyway, as I was saying, I'm just wondering what significance the bosses really have, because, I mean, I don't really seem to control... Like, I mean, story-wise, Gex doesn't really have, like, a big focus on plot. And I think it's supposed to be implied that, you know, these bosses are given control of sections of the media dimension, but I don't know, we don't get anything from it, really. Like, I mean, if Gex... I mean, not Gex. If Rez is supposed to be the big bad controller of the media dimension, then why the fuck are people working for him? Alrighty, I am back after drinking some water, because holy fuck, my throat was going, and I was basically just going on a big, nothing ramble. But anyway, we have one of our optional levels, which, as you saw before, is Yabba Dabba Doo!
I know what you're thinking.
Which is part of a level trope that is probably my least favourite in this entire game. I mean, this level in particular is okay, but you'll probably die a lot in your first time through. Well, fuck, I say that, but even I die a shitload of times on this level, but I don't know specifically what they were parodying with this. I mean, I suppose Jurassic Park, possibly. Well, that doesn't even make any sense, because Jurassic Park was like a park with dinosaurs on a modern day Earth, but I don't know, just general tropes of, like, you know, cavemen and, you know, dinosaurs and shit, but I think in terms of, like, parody-wise and in terms of the level itself, there just really isn't much going for this level. I mean, a difference in aesthetics, yeah, but I don't know, I don't think there is enough to really set this level up as, oh look, it's a level for the video game about people who do television. Like, I mean, I don't know, I think you could have done something a little bit more with it. That and the enemies are rather annoying as well, because you have, again, you haven't seen them yet, but you'll see, you know, Gex's ancient ancestors in caveman gear, and you kill them and then their tail severs from their body, and then it proceeds to attack Gex for some reason. Then you see dinosaurs and eggs. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. And it also looks like they're wearing sunglasses, which I think they are. Then again, it might just be me being mistaken there. Then you see dinosaurs and eggs, and then you see lava monsters that just pop out every now and again. And I don't think they're anywhere near as annoying as some of the fly enemies that we'll be getting to in a later level. But yeah, these levels in particular, on the top of the little... fuck, I don't know what to call it. But it's basically the area that I mentioned earlier with the whole Jezzo Rich 98 Faith, Hope, Unity thing. Yeah, if you turn the camera around right at the back of the televisions, you will see that message, which is rather bizarre, but I don't know, I mean, these levels, like, because again, there's three tiers. There's the Texas Chainsaw Manicure, which we'll be seeing a bit later, and I believe there is another Kung Fu themed, Samurai Night Fever, I think it is. And yeah, they're generally short levels, which I'm thankful for in the case of this level, but I don't know, I just don't like it. It's yeah. Why did I do that? Hey. Huh. Yeah, that tends to happen when you get extra lives. It becomes like this really orkies. I'm sorry about that. There's some kind of truck passing by my house, I think. Anyway, here's a little secret that's a pain in the ass to get in and out of. Oh, fuck. Yeah, you can see that little thing that you can climb up there. Go inside here. And what is this? rather dark cave area, and you see an evil gecko-looking thing. I have no idea what this is meant to be a reference to, probably some kind of obscure Japanese movie. And you get a clapperboard, which is basically what amounts to this game's cutscenes. And again, that's something I'll probably talk about in the next part, but they are rather superfluous. Like, I mean, I don't want to harp on Gex's story since this came out in 1998, but I was kind of hoping for something a little bit more. But I'll save that for next part because I don't think I have nearly enough time to expunge upon it here. Sorry about the brief cut there. Whoa, what's going on? It's implied that the level is playing. Yes. Yum. Ouch. I think you can use the invincibility. Well, you can use the invincibility. You can use the invincibility frames to your advantage here, if you're clever about it. But at the same time, this level can be a bit of a pain in the ass, especially since I think the hitbox around this area in particular, since, you know, there's the hitbox for the lava that's streaming down and the lava that's actually there, it tends to get a bit finicky, and that's usually why this section is usually the one that I like the least. Hip hop bippity bop. Anyway, I'm Skully, keep a new metal, and enjoy the cutscene of this, as pointless as it is. Ooh, that rhymed.
You cut up his brain, you bloody baboon. Nice try, big boy.